Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 30th of October to the 2nd of November 2023. We're in the penultimate month of 2023. It's very, very exciting. It is not long until we will discover who is on the floor on Christmas Day. And my goodness me, we had some theories thrown into the mix this week, did we not? We shall be discussing all of that in the podcast coming very soon. Joining me this week is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you? Joining me every week is Ree, to be fair. All right.
Yeah. I'm all right. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, mate. Yeah, nothing much to report this week. I did an extra shift at work. I was grumpy about that. It's my first week back at work after my holiday, and that's the worst ever time to go back to work, isn't it? Oh, it's foul mood.
It just feels like you never went away, doesn't it, when you get back?
I know.
Like, oh, I'm back here again. Brilliant. Yeah.
Ugh, it's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. I should just stay on holiday my entire life. There's got to be a job where you can do that, right? I could become a travel blogger or something. I don't know how much.
Yeah, mate. There's loads of people doing stuff like that, or you just travel and work in bars or something like that. A lot of people do it.
I'll do that. That's
I could see you doing that. Maybe you should have a gap year. A gap year.
Yes, I could have a gap year. I think that's something that would suit me. Anyway, right. So, ladies and gents, as I say, penultimate month, which means a calendar change is time. Ooh. So we go from Goodbye Skinny Sharon. She was good. Oh, it's a gorgeous picture of Sharon in October for my birthday month. That's lovely. Right, to November. Again, this calendar is literally just Sharon in lots of different sorts of surprised poses, really, isn't it?
Doesn't give much away, does it?
It doesn't really. I mean, could you even hazard a guess about when that might be?
It looks a recent one again.
Yeah.
The haircut.
She looks mildly horrified about something. She's standing in her new house, I think, though, isn't she?
That's what I'm trying to suss out, actually.
I think she is.
Is she?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. But other than that, that's all we have.
Actually,
She looks as stunning as always because Letitia Dean's a goddess. But other than that, we've got nothing much to kind of throw at that. But there we are.
Stunning in blue.
Stunning in blue. That is Sharon in November. Right then, ladies and gents, a big old return this week, which you predicted, Ree. So well done. You saw it coming. You did it.
Yeah, well, I don't think I was the only one who saw it coming, to be fair.
No, but we'll be coming on to the arrival of Dean later in the podcast. So let's crack on with this week's Albert Square After Dark. So we shall start this week with what could possibly be the maddest plot we've had on EastEnders for a while. This is bonkers, absolutely bonkers. This is Keanu and Sharon and Albie and Karen and Dorian at the start of the week as well, who I didn't think we were going to see again. Dorian made a return this week. This is old mad, isn't it? It really, really is.
I don't have words. Can I be honest, right?
Yes, you can.
Personally,
yes.
I wasn't a huge fan of the show this week.
Okay.
Not that it was like awful or anything, but we've had a lot of stronger weeks. It was a week. A week for me.
Well,
and
I think
this I think is why, because I hated this storyline so much.
Okay.
Quite honest.
The thing is, Keanu isn't my favourite character. And, nothing to do with performances or anything like that. But Keanu has never been a character that's really overly thrilled me. So in a cast of how many of EastEnders, someone's got to be down there. But the problem with this is that this storyline, I feel, is going to be quite key moving forward into the sixth storyline. Like, there's every reason why Keanu could and possibly should be on the floor on Christmas Day. So this is something that we're going to have to just sort of deal with. The thing about it is that Keanu makes Vinny look gifted at crime. You know what I mean? Like, he is just as bad. Like, the way that he had to improvise this week in order to get to an even worse situation than when he started was insane. So, I mean, we start the week with Dorian's return. Like I said, I did not think Dorian was going to be back, because Dorian turns up at the boxing den with like his heavies in tow, demanding money from Sharon for the event that he was fiddling to get more money. So he's just a bad and all round is Dorian. There's one little thing in all of this Dorian stuff that does confuse me. Why is Sharon still on her way to Abu Dhabi? Because have I missed something here? Because I thought that, seeing as though Dorian was the one that had offered her this job, and sort of made her aware of this job. I assumed that Sharon would just be like, well, I guess that's that then on that. But she's still planning on going.
Remember, she said, he just gave me the contact. It's got nothing to do with Dorian. However,
true.
Would you take a recommendation from Dorian after what he's done? So it don't make sense at all from that.
If someone turned up at my place of work with a group of heavies behind him demanding money off me, and especially when he turned around and said, I know where your kid is, and all that kind of thing, would I hell and slide get a recommendation for him to leave the country? No. Silly Sharon.
I mean, that would have been a good enough argument for Keanu, really. Like, how much can you trust a contact that Dorian's giving you? Don't forget who's giving you the contact.
All he needed to say. All he needed to say.
Well, we wouldn't have had the events of this week, would we,
wouldn't we? What a shame that would have been. God almighty. Right, so...
Yeah. Sorry. One moment, though, about the Dorian thing. Yes. Just to add to the whole of Keanu's improvisation and stuff, Sharon seemed to have that situation totally under control, didn't she?
Completely under control. Completely.
This is walks Neanderthal Keanu
with a baseball bat. Like a little... Like a smart price Phil with his baseball bat. I've got a little baseball bat. Honestly, it was kind of like Phil turns up normally with a massive baseball bat that he's practically... The only reason that he's not wrapped barbed wire around it is probably for editorial reasons, that they can't show it before the watershed. True. Keanu basically shows up with the sort of like a rounder's bat, essentially, doesn't he? Like but yeah, he turns up at the boxing den with this baseball bat, and Sharon's kind of like, I've got this. I don't need you to be involved. Like, leave me alone. And I think Keanu at that moment sort of feels Albie and his relationship with his son slipping through his fingers and realizes that this ridiculous plan that he's cooked up with Karen, who I have to say, Karen, I'm glad that she showed a bit of decency this week. I'm glad that she turned around to Keanu and was kind of like, you've gone mad. This is a stupid idea. And I also kind of brought up the fact that how could you do this? As much as I hate Sharon, says Karen, how could you do this to a woman who has already lost a son? Like, this is insane what you're planning on doing here. So it was nice to hear that from Karen.
Yeah, I've got a few theories about it all, but we'll get to that, yeah.
Including
why she's been like that.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, so, I mean, Keanu decides, right, okay, well, the only way that this could possibly work is if I kidnap Albie and take him to another country. So he takes Albie's passport, Spain, Portugal, somewhere like that. He takes Albie's passport. Can we talk briefly about creepy Albie? Mummy. I'd never heard anything so creepy in my life. I mean, I know it was Halloween, but my God.
Bless him. They obviously asked the little boy to like say mummy, and that were obviously the way that he decided to deliver his line.
I mean, is that what I've become? I'm criticising a baby's acting. Is that where I've become? Terrible.
The slippery slope, Rob.
I know. I'm going to be a forum member soon if I carry on like that. But it was so creepy the way he did it, and it repeated it as well. It wasn't just the one time he said it. He was literally staring deep into Keanu's soul.
Do you know what? To be fair, toddlers are a bit weird like that. Like, my daughter at the minute can barely speak, but she keeps whispering, I did it.
To be fair, I've met your daughter a few times now, and I'm semi-convinced that she's going to grow up and try and take over the world. So it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. There's an evil streak in your daughter. I've seen it before. On,
she just like, what was under her breath? I did it. And I'm like, okay, what have you done?
Amazing. Yeah.
Anyway, so they do things like this.
Doesn't surprise me with your daughter whatsoever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, because Albie normally is a very, very cute kid. Like, I thought him dressed as a pumpkin was absolutely adorable.
Oh, but
it was just that brief moment where his eyes were boring into Keanu's like something out of The Omen. It was just it was mad. Anyway, so this is the other thing with Keanu. Like, he very quickly realizes, oh well, I'm rubbish at this, because Albie won't stop crying because he wants mummy, and so he rings. It just all sort of goes downhill. I thought you'd be quite triggered by something this week, because when he was supposed to be taking Albie to a party at the community centre, and there was a woman on the desk that he lied to, saying that he was taking Albie to a dentist appointment, and she reminded me of that woman that you watch on YouTube to keep your daughter entertained. What's her name? Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel.
Yeah, tell us, actually.
If you're not aware, tell us about Miss Rachel. Who is Miss Rachel?
Do you know what? She's a fantastic educator for young children, right? But she is very, hi. That is her USP there, to be fair. Yeah. But she's like, hi, how are we? She's very over the top. I can totally see why you thought that, in fairness. Honestly, I can see the comparison.
Because I saw some of Miss Rachel when I came around your house one time. You were trying to keep your daughter entertained, and it was hypnotic. Miss Rachel was. I always am intrigued by someone like that, and that's her job. All right, so she has to go to work every day and film these really sort of like "hello children" sort of moments. And I always want to know what it's like when someone like that goes into work with a hangover. You know, like what is she like? Awful. What is she like when she's hungover?
She's demonic. A pro, Miss Rachel. She wouldn't do it on a hangover. Yeah, she's a pro.
Fascinating. Fascinating psychology. Anyway, so Sharon realizes that realizes A, that Albie is missing, and B, that the passport is missing. Because all Keanu was supposed to do was to pick him up from the party and sort of bring him home and give him a bath and just be a dad to him, but he couldn't even manage that. So she panics, realizes the passport's missing, calls the police, and before too long, there are sirens going off around Walford. There's a helicopter going across the sky at one point. It was like they brought the whole of London constabulary to find this child. And Keanu just doesn't know what to do. So he arrives back on the square with the passport in order to sort of just hide the passport back in Sharon's house so it doesn't look like he took it, and then tells her that, oh yeah, I took him to the park, but I turned around for a second and Albie has gone missing. So he's now not only taken Albie from Sharon, but he's also made her think that someone's kidnapped him.
There's just part of it is believable because of how we watched it transpire.
Yes.
But also, it's just too stupid, all of it, to be quite honest. I have a feeling.
Yes, go on.
That it feels a bit forced to me, I'm not going to lie. This is why I didn't like it.
Okay.
I feel like it's all linked to Karen's exit.
Okay.
Right? And it's basically, everyone's going to say that she's done what happened with Shannon Matthews, right? Perfect kind of person to do it with. She's also got a video from Malcolm with him on the trampoline, so you've got evidence that she knew where he was. Keanu's not got anything on his phone, and I think Karen's going to go down for it, and she's going to take the blame, and act like she was trying to take.
So your theory is that Karen isn't going to die. You think Karen might get arrested?
Yeah, I think she's going to get arrested for this.
That might be
when
interesting.
It all eventually comes out. Because how's he going to get? It's so stupid. But the only trace they've got is with Karen. So then Keanu can play along and she can say, yeah, I took Albie because I didn't want Sharon taking him. Everyone's witnessed Karen being awful to Sharon. It's just I think that's what it's all about.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of wondering because everybody was sort of theorizing that, Karen's leaving and there's a fire coming up. So, they put two and two together. But I was kind of wondering, well, why would, apart from the fact that Bernie works in there, but why would Karen die in the cafe fire? I wasn't sure how that logistically would work, but your theory makes a lot of sense, to be fair. That does make a lot of sense.
She could still be in the fire. She might think Bernie's in there and go in to save her or something.
You might think Bernie's burning.
Hey! Sorry, that was too enthusiastic. But I think it's going to be that she gets arrested.
Yeah, I mean, the Keanu doesn't even end it there. Oh no, he's got one more trick up his little sleeve when he writes a fake ransom note, posts it through Sharon's letterbox, demanding 50 grand in order to kind of get money off Sharon in order for Albie to be returned safely.
What's betting? The pen and papers come from Karen's flat as well. Just to add more evidence into the mix. Maybe,
I would, normally I would kind of be like, yeah, that could work. But think about which police force we're dealing with here. I don't think the Walford police are capable. I don't think Walford police are capable of that level of depth, forensic depth. I really don't. But I think the video on her phone, I think you're right there. That's there for a reason. Because because why would a member of the family have to send a video in order to sort of solidify the idea that he's okay? I mean, Malcolm isn't thrilled that Albie's there because it sounds like Albie's just had this kid dumped on him. Chantel, what's her name? Sinead. No, what's her name? Candice. Thank you. I think I went to sleep last night. Candice has sort of gone off on a trip, so this poor Malcolm was clearly looking forward to spending the week on his own and like watching the racing or something. And he's had this baby dumped on him that he barely knows.
That this is the other thing that didn't make sense to me. That he says, go and take him to Auntie Candice's, and then she just leaves him with this Malcolm. Why has she not stayed then? Why did she then come back? I didn't. No. It's all just a bit. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, well, to be fair, I think Sharon would sort of work out, oh, and where's Karen while we're at it, and then kind of work it out. So presumably that's.
At that point, Karen didn't know why she was taking him there. Keanu just went over and went, take him to Auntie Candice's, here's some money. She didn't know that it was because they're all in this lie.
I don't believe for a second that when Keanu told her to take Albie there, he even knew what he was going to do at that point. I think he made it up as he went along. Every single minute of that plan, he didn't have when he left, and like none of that was planned at all. The man's an idiot. So he. With this 50 grand, where is this going to go? Where in God's name is this going to go? And my main question is, how the hell does Sharon end up in a wedding dress on Christmas Day when all this is kicking off? I don't understand.
Because Keanu's going to play the long game. Karen's going to say, you better make it worth me going to prison, my son. So then he's going to carry on this plan, convince Sharon, pretend that he's disowned his mum for it or something. I don't know. That's a way of not having her involved and exiting.
Oh, really? Really? You think Keanu's just going to make out like he's dumping Karen out of his life altogether and that Karen's just done this independently? Wow. That's a deep plan.
My theory.
That's not a bad theory, to be fair, at this stage. That's not bad.
And Karen would do that for him as well.
Yeah, she would.
To ensure that he's in Albie's life, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she
Rather than a sun going down. I think that's where it's all headed,
Interesting. Yeah, it's just madness. It really, really is. And also, you know, I'd love to hear what Phil's going to say when he eventually finds out about all this. Where's Phil been these past couple of weeks? Where's he been? Where's he been? Where is Phil?
He would have been the perfect person to sort out all the Dory stuff, and he totally would have. In fact, in Arthur, it is Jim anyway. So where's he been?
I am surprised. Phil, like the past couple of weeks with all the J stuff and now all this, Phil's not been seen. I'm really surprised because Phil's like he should have been quite a key component in both of those stories. So it's Phil's kind of missing at the moment, missing in action, so to speak. So that isn't a bad theory, I have to say. I think you might be onto something there. That's not bad at all. I just think it's madness, absolute madness.
But how are they actually going to get Albie back? Sharon's surely not going to cough up this 50. She's going to go to the police with this ransomware.
Oh no, because Keanu wrote "Don't involve the police" on his ransom note, so she has to see what he says on the ransom note.
It's just like a teenage boy trying to play a really bad prank, innit?
It really literally is. Like this is. It's the fact that he's clearly just not planned any of this out and he's improvising and flying by the seat of his pants at every turn of this.
And it is.
He's so stupid.
Just another thought. Karen keeps saying, Albie can't keep anything to himself, so he's blatantly going to go back to Sharon and be like, well, my nan
I about stood a trampoline.
Uncle Malcolm's and I met my cousin Princess and I was on a trampoline.
Yeah.
This is where it's all going to be, isn't it? It's all leading to it, sure.
Yeah. This isn't going to go well for Keanu whatsoever. So,
Karen, it's not going to go well for.
Well, it's not going to go well for either of them. Yeah, I think that's a very good idea, and that's an interesting theory. Other than Karen dies, because I think we were all sort of like, well, why would Karen ever leave? So clearly she's going to get killed off. But you might have broken through it there. I think that's that would be quite a Karen type exit. I quite like that as an idea. We'll just have to wait and see because I have a feeling it's going to be next week. I do have a feeling because stuff is kicking off next week. Let me tell you, very exciting. Anything else to discuss with this ridiculous story?
No, just other than I absolutely hated it. Sorry.
Yeah,
not hated. Weren't a massive fan. Not hate, but no, weren't a massive fan of it.
I just feel that Keanu is going to be a key character in the sixth storyline going forward. Like he is Sharon's man. He's the one that Sharon might potentially kill. So it's like it or not, we're here. So we're gonna have to deal with this now. I think the issue with it is that because it's one of those stories that some characters have to act a bit dumb in order for it to happen. You know what I mean? So I struggle to think that Sharon wouldn't be seeing through this quite quickly, especially if she's not going to realize all of this until Christmas. Like, if Keanu manages to keep Sharon fooled for this long.
In her head, it's just, where the F is my son?
Yeah.
Where is my 3-year-old son? So she wouldn't be necessarily thinking clearly, to be fair. But the rational side of you'd be going, well, this don't add up, this don't add up, and this don't add up. So you're definitely in on it. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Right, ladies and gents, let us know in the comment section where you think this story is going. How do you think Karen is going to be leaving, and how long can this ridiculous plan of Keanu's actually play out for? Let us know in the comment section below or by any of our social media outlets. On to Jay and Ben now. It wasn't a massive part of the week, this, but we got a bit of insight into what was really going on with Jay this week in the run-up to the crash. They have a heart-to-heart, Jay and Ben, about the accident and where Jay's head was at. And they sort of, right, so, I mean, I've got this right, haven't I? Like, Ben was worried that this might have been a suicide, because I think Lexi put the idea in his head. But Jay sort of said, well, no, it wasn't. I was just off my head. But you kind of get the feeling that it might, he's not that far from being in that mindset.
Well, he actually said, I don't have the guts to do it.
Yeah,
so
I know, but
he was saying that, like,
he's at rock bottom.
Yeah, he's definitely depressed, I think it's safe to say. But like he said, he wouldn't have the guts to do it.
Yeah, it's
paraphrasing him.
Yeah,
I don't think that he would, in fairness. I don't think that
No.
I think he's at rock bottom, but I can't imagine, like he said, he probably just don't do it. He don't do something like that. He's not quite in that spiral.
But he's definitely at it. Yeah, I think that's the key thing there, isn't it? It's a yet. Like, I think he's sort of, if anything, this was a warning to himself and to the people around him that Jay is at his lowest ebb it's possible to be at this moment. Something else that you predicted last week that I didn't even think about occurred this week when the police turned up, wanting consent to Jay's blood tests. Now, he's now said, well, no, you can't. So what is the police? What's the police's next move now that he said that?
Well, I Googled this because I was so interested.
There was a link for you. That was tenuous. There you are. That wasn't planned. Yes. What did you discover, Louis?
And he doesn't have. So basically, it's about capacity. And now that he's in the capacity to make that decision as to whether they take his sample, and he's declined, I think it is classed as an offence.
Which kind of makes you wonder, why did they even ask to consent in the first place?
Well, it's like if you got caught, let's say they pulled you over for drink driving and you refused to you refused to give them your breath. I can't remember the blooming name.
Give them your breath.
Breathalyzer.
A breathalyzer. If you refuse to give them your breath.
You refuse to use a breathalyzer or give them a specimen like urine or blood or whatever, that's an offence.
Yes.
And I think it's similar in this circumstance. But I were reading about it. I mean, it weren't relevant to this, but we're all this thing about if they're
to a hole,
not in the capacity. So let's say he was still in the coma and the police came and said we need a sample.
Yeah.
They have to get like a doctor who has to make the decision legally with the police or something as to whether they can actually take it. So there's a lot to do with consent with it.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think he may be up for an offence for not for.
Oh, he's definitely in more trouble now, isn't he? Like, there's no you get the feeling that Jay's troubles are by no means over at this stage. So the police are now on to him. He's now gonna. Can you see Jay going to prison for this? Maybe for a little while. I don't know what the.
Well, no, because I think they'd just give a sample and they'd make him go to prison like that. Surely.
That's what I mean. Like, so do you reckon he's going to be heading to prison anytime soon? No,
I think he might just get a heavy fine or something, maybe for not giving a sample, or maybe some community service. But I can't see him going down for it.
Well, he's not got a spotless record either, though, has he? Because he was just recently arrested.
That's true.
But he was recently arrested for drug possession as well, wasn't he? So yeah, I think this might be the start of something else entirely, which isn't great news for him.
Does Callum not have like a duty of care? Is that the word? Does he not is he not supposed to declare that he knew that he was on drugs when he was driving?
Let's not pretend for a second that Callum is going to be in any way involved in this. Callum can't do a thing about it. To be fair, I don't think Callum can do a thing about this. I think, and to be fair, none of them knew that Jay was about to get behind the wheel of a car. So I don't think that Callum can actually have that much involvement in this. He's definitely not going to be able to get Jay off for anything, and I don't think that he can do anything to protect Jay at this stage. It's all sort of very much in his court.
But really, Callum should be going forward as a witness and saying, I know that he was on drugs that day because I saw him and then he got in a car. But obviously he's not going to.
No, it's unlikely. There's an interesting thing with Kim this week. I liked this. I was a bit there was a moment where I was kind of like, why is Kim getting involved in this storyline? But then you sort of noticed, like, she had a chat with Jay about, you know, the car crash, and we kind of went back to Kim's experiences with it, which I thought was a really kind of interesting parallel, and sort of talking about Kim's anxiety and how we discovered this week via Rocky's storyline, weirdly, that Kim hasn't got back behind wheel of the car and actually has no interest in ever driving again, which was interesting. But I don't know if that's something that we'll be returning to later on down the line as well. But yeah, there was a really nice scene between Jay and Kim this week. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was nice. It's a nice role for Kim to have. She doesn't have that role very often in storylines where she's the advisor. So I thought that was quite a nice role for her.
And obviously, because of her relationship with Lola and how good friends they were, it made sense. Actually,
it did make sense.
At first, I was confused, and I was like, "Oh yeah, actually, no." I can see
I think also what it did was sort of just remind us again, which has been a real highlight of this era, about the community feel of the square. Like, so yeah, I'm mates with Jay, so I'm going to go see him in hospital. I know I've known this guy for years, so I'm going to go see him and see if he's all right in hospital. It's just, you know, it doesn't. I think it could genuinely be as simple as that. It's just that nice because this is a community of people that have known each other for years and know about each other's problems. So yeah, I liked it. I liked that. I thought it really worked. It's nice. So your prediction for what's going to happen with Jay? I think he's definitely going to be in more. I think he's going to end up going to court, and then I think, because bearing in mind he's been arrested for drug possession. I also wouldn't be surprised if they bring back his if they bring up his him being on the sex offenders list as well, just to mess him up a bit further.
Totally forgot about that. And what if they do find out about him with Nadine as well? Would that that side?
I don't know. I mean, anything's possible, isn't it? The thing is, as good a person as Jay is, and he is a good person, we all know Jay is like not normally, when he's on a perfectly normal kind of period of his life, he's one of the loveliest people around. But even with that, we know that Jay has not got a spotless police record, so all of that is not going to do him any favors. So yeah, I think prison might be on the cards for Jay. It won't be a long sentence, but I think
surely not. Surely not.
I think I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Let us know in the comment section below where you think Jay's story goes next. Okay, so on to Rocky and Nish now. Rocky's problems are getting worse and worse and worse, and so are his money issues. To the point now where Olga is refusing to serve him at the bookies. That's because she believes, and Harvey believes fully, that Rocky is addicted to gambling, and that is his problem. Whereas I don't know. Where are you at with this, with the Rocky storyline at the moment?
Well, just to make a point, you mentioned a week or whenever ago it were that did Olga have a responsibility? It turns out
I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, I was quite pleased that they did that, because I think we had a comment.
I'm really surprised.
Yeah, we had someone on the comment section talk about it as well. I can't remember what they said, but they sort of said that it doesn't really fall into their, you know, it doesn't really, it's not really their responsibility. But it turns out that Olga independently sees it very much as her responsibility. So that was interesting.
Maybe it is because she's had that phone call from Harvey saying it. I think had she not had that phone call, maybe
I mean, it's
about to refuse him. I don't know.
I imagine it's in a similar way to, like, nobody in the square would serve Phil alcohol given the choice. You know what I mean? Like, they all know he's an alcoholic, so they just wouldn't serve him it. To be fair, Phil would probably just nick it himself when he's in that mode. But anyway, so Rocky's problems just kind of keep snowballing, and we know where this is leading to. I think this is definitely leading to next week are the big fire episodes. So. And it was an interesting thing as well, because we got some hints this week that all is not well with the cafe's fuse box with the cafe.
Electricals.
Yes. So Rocky, I don't think, knows about the fuse box at this stage, but I think that was very definitely dropped in for us, wasn't it? So there's something going on with the cafe's electrical things.
Well, did you notice that Nish knows that there's something wrong with the cafe's electrical?
Yes.
Problems.
Yes, indeed.
Electrical devices.
Can you tell we know what we're talking about with electrical devices? Electrical devices. It's a fuse box. Nothing to do with electrical devices.
Well, no, because it was an electrical device, because
technically
Kathy was Kathy was saying, it were a loose wire, and he said, shouldn't you get an electrician in for that?
Like Kathy knows. She made Bernie deal with it, and Bernie didn't have a clue what she was doing.
Yeah.
I literally think
I'm wondering...
I literally think that Kathy sort of took one look at Bernie and went, "You're better suited for this," for whatever reasons. But it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this is going. But this is very much going to be in the lead up to Rocky and how he becomes Kathy's man, I should think.
I think that Nish has now recognised this and is he going to say to Rocky, like, well, maybe you should get some insurance from Cafe? Is he going to trick him into doing it somehow? I just thought it were the timing of Nish witnessing it. I was like, why is he witnessing that then? Is this why the fire's going to start? Is he going to put the idea in Rocky's head so that he can get his interest on this loan that he's took out?
Yeah, I think you might be right. I just think Rocky's problems are now just a stage of, because Nish is constantly putting pressure on him now to just pay off the first installment of this loan. We haven't really been told how much this loan is, but presumably it is thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pounds, because he was really annoyed that Harvey stopped him from winning $4,000, which I think was just going to be enough money for the first installment. So God knows how much this loan actually is for. But
yeah, I'd be annoyed at that as well, though.
For 100%. I'd be livid. I would be livid.
Wouldn't you?
That would be the end of our friendship. I don't care. Like, I could have won $4,000. Do you know how many pints that is? Yes.
But yeah, do you think that he's addicted to gambling, Rob?
No, I don't think he's addicted to gambling. I still don't know. I think he is so desperate to sort out his problems that he is, because he sees gambling as a quick way of doing it, proven by the fact that he could have won $4,000 this week, which would have solved his problem straight away. I think he's been desperately looking for that because he doesn't see any other alternative to getting that much money quickly. I think
that is gambling, though, isn't it? Like, it's a quick fix, but he didn't know that horse was going to win, and he would have just chucked 500 quid away when he hasn't got 500 quid to chuck away.
Don't, because I got so much abuse from people that way. How could you not see that he's addicted to gambling? You all said, and I just don't think that. I get what you mean, but I don't think that's the direction the story is going. Compared to Lisa, who we knew was, do you know what I mean? It's not that level. Yeah.
I think we're both right in a way, because I think he's addicted to gambling because of his circumstance. Maybe if all his debts that he's currently in were written off, do I still think he'd be trying to go to bookies? No.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Mate, it's a hard one, but he is also, sorry, I thought I heard something.
All right.
But I do think that he is. I mean, he bought a scratch card as well, Rob.
I know, but again, just if you buy a scratch card, you're practically you need support if you buy a scratch card for sure. I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. I just think that I just think it's just desperation. Hence why we now think that he's going to be the person that starts the calf fire because for the insurance, because he needs the money. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. I get what you mean, though. And I thought it was interesting that Harvey is now utterly convinced that he is completely and utterly addicted to it and rang Olga to make sure that she doesn't serve him again.
But to be fair, if Harvey's thinking it and he knows the entire situation, then possibly he is. Because he knows exactly what's going on and he's still saying you're addicted to gambling now. Or he's trying to nip it in the bud before it gets there
again. But then Rocky is up, mind you. I suppose if you're Harvey in that situation, no matter what Rocky's going to say, because the first thing an addict is going to say is, "I'm not addicted." Otherwise, you wouldn't be. You wouldn't be in that situation. So it's interesting.
And he did say it to Nish. Nish went in, didn't he, to the car lot and said, "So is this why you're in this mess? Because you're gambling?" And I think Rocky said, but obviously we know it's actually because of Joe.
Because it's Joe, and because Nish is making it 10 times worse as well.
So it were interesting that he went, that he said it was because of the gambling, Rocky, because he wouldn't have thought that he'd admit to it. I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, I don't think that's part of it is actually that important moving forwards into what we know is going to happen next week. Yeah. All of this, whether it's a gambling addiction or whether it's just desperation, is leading him to possibly, we think, setting fire to the calf next week. So, I mean, are we excited about the fire next week? I feel like it's going to be big. I've seen a couple of pictures, which suggest that it's explosive. It's going to be some fiery drama. I think it's going to be really, really good. And just so you know, I have got the title for next week's podcast episode in my head already, and I've had it in my head since they announced that there was going to be a fire. So let me tell you.
Well, tell me when we stop recording. No. I saw you post. Yeah, you are. You're going to tell me. Oh yeah.
Am I going to tell you? Okay, fair enough.
I'm trying to guess.
Okay then. So yeah, I think that was basically all this was really this week. Just kind of setting the seeds, setting the pathway for what we think is going to be occurring next week. We might be wrong. It might just be the fuse box does happen to blow, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think it is. Where's the story?
What if it could even be Nish himself rather than Rocker, who does it because he wants the money or something? I can't see Nish doing that, but you never know.
No. So final predictions for next week. Do you think anyone's going to die next week?
Oh,
because you've already you've storied away what might happen to Karen. So if it doesn't involve Karen, what do you think the casualties will be in this situation?
I can't see him I can't see him killing Karen off. I think it's pointless, especially when they've got an easy out now.
Now you've written it. It is, yeah. They could be listening to this and going, "Oh damn, why didn't we think of that?"
Well, I'm saying that I think really obvious that that's where it would potentially ended after this week. No, I don't know who they'd kill off. Bernie could kill off Bernie, and then Karen be upset about it, and that's how she exits.
Or could Rocky himself die?
Yeah, because we know that he's going, don't we, as well?
Interesting. Can't wait. Looking forward to next week. It's going to be good and big and explosive. Boom. Yeah. And it's probably all going to be set at night because the square looks great when it's bathed in night and fire. I love it. Can't wait. Very exciting.
And it's bonfire night as well on Sunday. Yes. So are they going to be in the air as well?
Ooh. They'll always remember the 5th of November. Very exciting. Right, so final storyline of the week, ladies and gentlemen, and we have had a horrific return. So, all the way back in February, we had inklings that a certain person might be returning to the square. It was just a throwaway comment. Well, it wasn't a throwaway comment. It felt like quite an important scene. But all this time, we sort of been like, is Dean coming back? Is Dean coming back? Feels like Dean might be coming back. Dean has officially made his return. He turned up on Halloween to give Linda a nasty shock while she was dressed up as a Halloween character. By the way, can we talk about Elaine's Halloween outfit? Stunning. I thought she looked amazing. I always love it when characters in a soap who are 9 times out of 10 normally supposed to be kind of not that well off and not sort of, but whenever a soap does a scene where the characters have to dress up, they all dressed up like to the absolute nines, like they've hired them from TV studios. It's amazing. And Elaine looked stunning this week, I thought. But yes, Dean has returned. What do you think? Were you in any way surprised to see Dean? Ignoring the league. But would you, if that hadn't have happened, would you have been at all surprised to see him?
No, that leak were nothing. We all knew we were coming back.
No,
let's be honest.
It didn't feel surprising.
It didn't spoil anything.
No, I don't think so.
It's almost a bit disappointing that we found out that there was that comment in February because everyone's been clinging to it with this mystery.
That's true.
It would have been more surprising had we not had that, but also it would have been too random had we not had that. So I mean,
we have been saying now for a little while, the later on in the year it got, how it would feel like if it is Dean on the floor on Christmas Day, it would feel a bit of a cheat because of all the build-up we've had before then. Now he's here. Weirdly, it feels still quite a while until we get to Christmas Day. So has your feelings on that changed at all now he's here?
I don't know, because it's not like he's winning people over, is it? Everyone's
no, he's got no friends. He's Billy No Mates is Dean at the moment, and quite right too.
So it wouldn't, I don't know, now he's here. It's still not that long though, really. It would be a bit of a
It's not, but you're sort of looking at Dean now, right? So, I mean, they brought him back for some interesting reasons. So it turns out that Jade, his daughter, who he had with Shabnam all those years ago, I want Shabnam back. I loved Shabnam.
Who's now how old?
Right? Yeah, I couldn't believe this.
I thought she was still 6 in my head.
So did I. These kids...
Oh no, a few years have gone by.
Kids age, It's weird, isn't it? You'd think you'd know that being a mother now. No, neither did I. Kids age. Who knew? Who knew? I was amazed. I genuinely thought Jade was about 8. But it turns out she's 15. But this is a kid that has, like, I can't say it, cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis. And then it's a sadistic fibrosis. That's not it. Cystic fibrosis.
No, cystic.
And she, sadly, is apparently she's probably quite close to dying quite soon. So this is why Dean has come back, because he wants to be close to Jade in her final days. And we were all, and everyone on the square was a sort of bit like, yeah, right, whatever. But Stacey rings Shabnam, and it turns out all to be true. So he's there for the reasons that he says he is. But it was a bit mad for him to just walk into the Vic and not expect Linda to try and chase him out of the kitchen with a knife.
I've got a huge issue with the Vic security. Why is that cellar door always unlocked?
Always unlocked, isn't it? Yeah.
Always unlocked. In the middle of London as well. Come on. It needs bolting even when you're in. What are they playing at?
To be fair, though, I wouldn't break into any of the properties in Albert Square. If you knew who lived around Albert Square, I wouldn't dare. No. In fact, if anything, that place should be the most secure. That should be more secure than the Bank of England, Albert Square, for the people that live there. You've got bigger security, and they've also got Tyson the dog. And Tyson the dog looks to me like someone who would ankle bite anyone that came anywhere near him. So Dean is officially back. I thought it was really interesting to sort of see the reactions. And I loved the sort of history lesson we got between him and Chelsea. That was nice, because I forgot, I'll be honest, I had completely forgotten about their connection before Dean was a nasty person, and she was calling him Dino and all that kind of thing. It was really nice to sort of see. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised in this era, because this is an era that knows its EastEnders history. So it was great to see. And I thought, even though he knew old Chelsea, was absolutely great in the scenes, and they both bounced off each other really well. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it did feel like it's weird with Chelsea, because when I look back now, I do picture Zara Abrahams. Yeah, even though obviously it wasn't.
Even though that's how good she is, Zara Abrahams. Yeah. She is an amazing recast, to the stage where you just do think she's been there for years and years and years. She is amazing.
Until I randomly watch classic EastEnders, and I'm like, oh yeah, Chelsea.
That was old Chelsea.
She was really tall, wasn't she?
Wasn't she just? Yeah, really tall.
In comparison,
yeah. So, do you think that there's going to be any sort of future development with Dean and Chelsea? Bearing in mind, we know Chelsea's taste in men is always awful. So,
well, we know that Denise is involved in the 6, so.
There is
a link somehow there.
There is a lot of reasoning that would make perfect sense for Dean to be on the floor on Christmas Day, because there is a lot of, there's a lot of history even just amongst the 6 with Dean. With Linda, Stacey's got history with Dean. Obviously Denise via Chelsea has got history with Dean. So
Denise were his stepmom.
Exactly. And if you're talking about rape within the 6, there's been a few theories kicking around that that's going to be sort of the motive for the death that's on the floor. So in terms of people that have been through that, you've got Linda, you've got Kathy, you've got Stacey, so it's Suki, exactly. So it's very much possible for Dean to be on the floor. And does he overtake Nish as the most deserving to be on the floor, do you think?
Oh.
It's hard to tell, isn't it?
Well, equally, to be honest.
Yeah, they're about on the same level, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know whether I still think it could be somebody that we're not expecting. It's almost too obvious with Dean as well.
I know what you mean. This is the thing with bringing someone like Dean back, because we know what he is and who he is, and the fact he's an awful, awful, awful person. It's really kind of hard to sort of see how he isn't on the floor. Which, as you say, does that make him way too obvious to be on the floor? But then at the same time, what could he possibly do beyond Christmas Day? Like, how much story have we got with Dean?
Well, have they just brought him back for this stint as a little red herring, or I don't know, what can he do? Well, then surely she could come back. That'd give him a bit. Well, this is more the other reason thing to be on the square if she does come back.
This is the other thing. So we got some new information on Shirley's whereabouts this week. So apparently Shirley's currently in a psych ward, which, in all honesty, was in a psych ward. Which, in all honesty, I'm not surprised by, considering what she has had to contend with the past few years, losing Tina, losing Mick. It's not surprising that she was on the edge. Bless her. Poor Shirley. But you kind of don't really believe a lot of what Dean's saying around this. So he's basically claiming that Shirley wants zero to do with Linda completely. That Carly's abandoned her, and Dean was basically, from what it sounds like, if Dean's story is to be believed, he's wormed his way back into Shirley's life because she didn't have anybody else around her. Which I can kind of believe.
Yeah, because if she's so vulnerable and she don't feel like she's got anyone else, and Carly's deserted her.
Yeah.
The thing that doesn't make sense to me, though, is when he said that Shirley now believes him about what happened with Linda.
Yeah.
Didn't Shirley witness what happened between him and Roxy?
I think so, yeah. And this is the thing, like, if your son has been, I can't imagine that the fact that he was accused of not one but two at least attempted rapes, one actual rape and one attempted rape, you kind of struggle with the fact that she would believe him in any something. But the fact that she lived with Linda all that time, she saw what Linda and Mick had to go through to get there. I don't believe that Shirley now believes Dean at all. I can't imagine that she's done that, unless we are supposed to believe that her psychological state now has become so weak that Dean has managed to convince her. But I struggle with that, if I'm honest.
I don't know. I've witnessed somebody, as you know, close to me in a bad psychological state.
Yeah, that's true.
And when they're in that state and they're so vulnerable, you could convince them or anything, actually, to be honest.
Possibly.
So... But I know what you're saying. From what we've seen over the years, it wouldn't make sense for her to change her mind like that.
No,
but
and
sometimes mother and son relationships can be like that.
I mean, I think I think the key point in what Dean is saying there is that if he is literally the only person left in Shirley's life, if Carly has abandoned her, she's lost Mick, she's lost Tina, she's lost Heather, she's lost anybody that was remotely close to her. And Dean has managed to worm his way back in. You can sort of see it, but I would struggle until Shirley is on screen telling me that this is how she feels. I don't believe Dean completely with this. I have to say, there's a bit of a mystery regarding Shirley's whereabouts at the moment. Do you think we're going to see Shirley again whilst Dean is here?
Well, this is it, isn't it? So he said, if I'm recalling this correctly, he said that she's been admitted to a psych ward twice, and then he said, and it was the second time that she got released that Carly washed her hands of her.
Yeah, so she's had a time since she's been away.
So why has she not come back with Dean if he's been her support when he's going through a hard time? Why is Dean not staying with Shirley and just visiting Jade? I don't know. Something's not...
Something doesn't feel right, and also the fact that one of the duffers this week was Dean literally standing outside the pawn shop, smirking. So there's something that he's keeping from Linda and on us at the moment. I got to say though, Matt D'Angelo's great. I'm really, he's a really, really good actor, and that first scene between him and Linda was electric. There was some really, really good stuff there. I could not believe how much of a gut punch just looking at that kitchen table was. The way he kept kind of banging it. They didn't refer to it directly. That they were a bit more subtle with it, but you knew what we were supposed to be kind of drawing our eyes to, and what Linda was kind of, it was the you could see it all being kind of flashing back in her eyes. It was amazing. Really, really strong stuff. And then when he turned around to her and said, "Yeah, I don't need your consent to do any of this," that was kind of like,
That actually was upsetting.
Yeah. Really, really good.
Who can blame her for grabbing a knife after that comment?
So would I. Meanwhile, the reaction from the rest of the square was interesting. So this is, like, as we have now been revealed, you got it right. Well done to you. That Dean is the mystery benefactor.
You sounded so happy about that, Rob.
I'm delighted for you. That Dean is the mystery benefactor that Cindy and Ian have unwittingly gone into business with. Ian was an arse this week with that scene in the calf, but then you it's grade 1 Ian, wasn't it, really? It's an interesting thing with Ian. Those are the kind of scenes that you can give to Ian without too much of a struggle, because he's that silly sometimes. He's daft. It
were daft there, really, because when obviously him and Cindy then confronted Dean, it was very obvious that he were on the side of Linda.
Oh yeah, 100%.
When Linda comes and confronts him, he was being defensive. Why not just say, look, I'm really sorry, I had no idea, I'm trying to get out of it. Yeah, but why did he not say that? Why is he trying to save face so much?
That's exactly it, though. I think that's all it was. I think Ian does this now and again. Like, he'll have even if he knows he's in the wrong, if he's got a load of people attacking him for what he's said or done, he will still defend himself, but then we'll go and maybe try and do the right thing later on when he's not being attacked. But it was very Ian, I thought, to just sort of be like, yeah, well, no one proved it, did they? So, yeah. But again, Cindy tries to get out of the deal. Bit of decency from Cindy, nice to see. It kind of gives her those extra sort of layers that, even she's not prepared to go there. But Dean's got them basically to rights because legally they can't get out of this, so they are stuck in business with him, which kind of keeps Dean around. It's interesting. I'm really intrigued to see where this goes from here. At this stage, I don't know if it's Dean on the floor on Christmas Day. I kind of hope it's not, just because, like we say, how it feels immediately obvious that it is him, but at the same time, I don't see how he goes any further than Christmas.
Well, obviously, Chris Crenshaw recently did an interview, didn't he?
He did.
And he said in this interview that we're going to be guessing until the last minute.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, I'm almost at the point of giving up, because I'm like, well, if
well, what was really interesting
in November?
what was really interesting in that interview is that he said about the Six that they don't actually become the Six until Christmas Day, and we've sort of kind of been talking about them as the Six throughout the entire year, whereas they become, I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, like, because this, whatever happens, is what brings them together as a group that they need to defend or hide, or whatever needs to happen. So that does make perfect sense. Also, we got Linda's trailer this week, which made perfect sense because Dean is clearly Linda's man in that regard of, like, the man that she might kill. The trailer is very, 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 very interesting because at one point, you've seen it, right? It shows it shows someone standing outside the Vic.
Yes.
Now, who do you think that is?
Suki.
I think it's Suki as well.
I screenshotted it.
I thought you might have done. Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely Suki, isn't it?
Look.
It's Suki. It is Suki. It is definitely 100%. Suki. It's 100% Suki. 100%. Now, what's interesting is if you watch the trailers that we've had so far, at one point there is the sound of footsteps running down the road. And we haven't had Suki's trailer revealed yet, there's been a few occasions over the past few months where we were like, oh, we must be getting Suki's trailer this week, with the stuff's been happening with Ravi, the stuff that isn't happening with Nish. We're kind of like, oh, surely Suki's trailer must be coming at any second. And we've kind of not got it yet. So do you know what my theory at the moment is? Is that all the trailers that we've had so far, we've had Stacey's, we've had Denise's, we've now had Linda's, and they're all sort of in the pub, sort of looking shocked, and, Linda's cleaning blood off the floor. My theory at the moment is that whoever is on the floor, Suki does it, and the trailer story is basically all the other women in the pub dealing with it, and Suki's running away because she did it. I think whoever the last trailer is going to be the killer, and I think that person is going to be Suki.
Wow. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's my theory. But yeah, it's interesting that Suki's featured like that.
There's a couple of moments in the various trailers where there's someone mysterious sort of hanging around the peripheral of the trailer, and that presumably is the same person. So yeah, I think it's Suki. I think Suki is going to end up being the killer, which makes perfect sense, really. But just who does she kill? Interesting.
Or maybe she doesn't know, Rob. Or maybe it's none of the Six.
That was my other theory. That's what I've been actually thinking all this time, that it was going to be outside of the Six that actually does it. But if it is one of the Six, I think it's Suki. But we'll have to wait and see. But very, very, very interesting and exciting. So Dean was good. I was really, really pleased to see Dean in terms of his role, his history, and the fact that actually, with everything that was going on this week, with all the other characters, you can actually see that he's got a lot of history on that square, actually, and the scenes with Chelsea I loved. So yeah, we've got some more stuff to come with Dean in the future, so it's going to be interesting to sort of see how it goes. Do let us know in the comment section what you think is going to happen. Gold star this week, Ree?
I'm torn.
Keanu?
No.
Oh, okay. No.
I think I'm
Miss
actually
Rachel?
going to Rachel, why not? No, I think I'm going to controversially give it to Dean, and it's not because I like Dean.
Of course not, but because
But he's brilliant. Matt D'Angelo's been brilliant.
Perfectly fair. And I will give mine to Linda, because I thought there were some cracking scenes with Kelly Bright this week. So the pair of them really bounced off well off each other.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Marvellous. So Dean and Linda for our gold stars. Don't attack us for the Dean gold star thing, because I got attacked for giving Theo a gold star once.
Oh, really? Well, I don't mean that he's a good...
No. This is the thing. The gold star...
And that I like Dean.
The gold star is for a character that stood out to us. That's all that means. Yeah. And Dean did stand out because he came back and he was brilliant when he came back in the scenes that he was in. Very, very fun. Yeah. There we are then. Don't worry. I'll defend you, Rhea. I've got you. I've got your back, mate. I've got your back. Come at me. Come at me.
Worried now.
No. I've got your back, mate. Don't you worry. Right, ladies and gents. Final section of the podcast is comments from you lot. Starting off this week's comments, we have an email from Adam who says, Rob and Ree, watching this Monday's episode of EastEnders made me think about a possible sixth theory. All the women keep mentioning a knight in shining armour. So could a man be trying to protect them from an attack and they get killed in the crossfire? Would love to know what you think. It's not a bad theory, that. My only thought with this is the fact that the whole knight in shining armor thing was originally sort of conceived by Chris Clencher, I think, in interviews where he was hinting about the arrival of the knights. So I wonder if that's the knight in shining armor might be a clue, but I wonder if that's maybe referring to something going on with the knights as well. Or it's not a bad theory that that the guy on the floor might not actually have done anything wrong, which would mean literally it could be anybody on the floor. That opens up to all sorts of headaches. In terms of theorizing who it could be.
I've seen a few theories saying that it's Martin, and obviously from trying to stop Theo. So that would be the unexpected, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd be devastated if it was Martin. The thing is with this now, it's been so long now where I'm literally kind of I'm emotionally exhausted already, just trying to work out what is a clue, trying to study everybody. The thing that blows my mind is everybody online and on social media who has always been able to study like what all the six are wearing at any time. My brain just doesn't work like that.
To be honest, you've been asking me this week, and my brain is trying to think who it is. I'm much like I don't think I've got the emotional strength to try and guess anything to do with the six this week.
Yeah, no, it's mad. It really is. I mean, I do still think that it is going to be Nish, and I think that with the fact that we've still got the Eve and Suki reveal to come, we don't know when that will be, but we have been in Chris Clenshaw's interview, we've been told that when that reveal does come, and I quote, all hell will break loose. So God only knows how that's going to play out. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad theory, Adam, and you could be right. But I'll tell you what, if it is that situation, it does literally mean that it could be anybody on the floor. So it's pointless in theorizing who it could be if that's the truth.
I actually agree, and I'm thinking it's going to be someone totally unexpected. I actually do think that now. I think it's going to be somebody that we've not even had a clue about, that we wouldn't have even thought of.
I love this story so much. I can't even tell you. Like it's just the way this story has just got the fans in overdrive now. It's just fascinating. I can't wait for Christmas Day, and we're only 50 odd days away from it now. We're not far. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. It's very exciting. Do you have a comment to read, my dear?
I do. I've got a comment from our Instagram page from Sarah3 saying,
Sarah3.
Well, that's how it's kind of spelled.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Loved how they all got together for Stacey regarding Theo, and now Linda with Dean. I hear they will all get together to find Albie too. Interesting pattern. So that was obviously when Albie had first gone missing, and we'd never seen it at the time. Yeah, a very interesting pattern. Again, related to the six a little bit, how they all come together.
Yeah,
something perhaps.
Yeah, we didn't mention that when we were talking about the story, but there was that really gorgeous scene this week where everyone in the pub sort of gathered around to support Linda with Dean's return. I thought that was really nice. And again, sort of, it's just another aspect of the whole community feel that the show has got at the moment, and how everybody, all the friends of the square, are all there for each other at all times. It's great. I love it. It's really, really nice. And then to be fair, the six storyline itself kind of lends itself to the idea of support, and sort of the girls, the six women will presumably, whatever happens, all be there for each other, and then be sort of linked together for the run up to the 40th, which is coming the year after next, which presumably next year is all going to be about slowly building up to the 40th. And go on.
I was going to say, is Glenna's going to give us another mystery for the 40th? Please do. I don't know if
I can cope with another mystery. But I tell you what has been confirmed is that Chris Clenshaw has said in this interview, obviously gave nothing away for the 40th other than the fact that it's going to be good. Which of course it's going to be good. But he's said that he is in charge of the 40th, which fantastic. I can't think of anybody better to be in charge of the 40th. Oh, it's gonna be good. Marvelous. So yeah, also we have had a comment from Stephen Brody, who, considering how much we have gone off about the Keanu story this week, Stephen has kind of given us another alternative. It says, I kind of ironically love what's going on with Keanu now. He seems set on making things better by doing the absolute worst thing possible. I almost expect him to start the calf fire with some weird justification of it helping him make Sharon feel better. I mean, that's all I can say. The Keanu is an idiot. He really, really is. I just think it's hilarious how the young sort of bravado of the square, sort of like Vinny, Keanu, like they all just they're so rubbish by trying to do the right thing. It really does give you the idea that young men are stupid. And those two characters certainly are at the best of times when they're trying to help. They really, really are. Bless them. So if you would like to get in contact with us by any means, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Instagram and Twitter at E20 After Dark, and like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Albert Square After Dark, and find us on all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yeah, you can. Thank you very much, by the way. We should say thank you to everyone who has bought us a coffee so far. It's really appreciated. Thank you so much. So. Really, really nice of you. We've got the best listeners and viewers in the world. We love you. Mwah. Right, ladies and gents, this time next week, we'll be discussing the fire. Can't wait. What is going to happen? It sounds like it's going to be a big old week. Burn, Benny, burn. It sounds like it's going to be a very, very big week. I cannot wait. Be there, ladies and gents, because we will be. And until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See ya.
Bye.